Well, hi everyone. My name is Lori La Bey, and I was supposed to be live with Dr. Lonnie Schicker today, but we were having technical difficulties. So she asked me just to make a recording for the group Dementia Living Support, Care, and Possibilities about what all I do. So, first of all, I'm going to start with how I got into this field. My own mother was living with dementia for 30 years. The first 10, she was misdiagnosed. They kept telling her that she had issues with her hormones, and she just kept telling them it wasn't that. She talked with her girlfriends, and it was very different. And then she finally got diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. Like I said, she lived 30 years. She started having symptoms in her mid 50s, passed away at the age of 86. We had her brain autopsied, and at that time they said definitely Alzheimer's, but also they were looking at Lewy body and Parkinson's disease as well. So in 2009, I was working in real estate. I had been working in real estate, residential real estate for 25 years, was in healthcare working with developmental disabilities for about 10 years prior to that. And it was actually the senior housing community that urged me to get into the dementia world. And back then, everyone pretty much called it Alzheimer's. And so that's why I named my company Alzheimer's Speaks, because there wasn't a lot of talk about dementia in general or other diseases. But my goal when I stepped into this was always about raising everyone's voice. So that meant the people living with a diagnosis, and any diagnosis is dementia. And I think they all affect one another, and how we serve the communities with dementia, I think is really, really important. So I know Lonnie said there were questions of, do I just talk about Alzheimer's? Absolutely not. It's anything dementia related and or caregiving related, because there's so much overlap. So again, started with a blog in 2009 where I told my personal stories. And at that time, I was kind of shocked people around the world resonated with, what was going on with our family. And bottom line, there was a lot of frustration on my part, my family's part, in terms of being able to find services, products, and tools, and other people going through what we were going through, because most people looked at us like we were crazy. They just didn't understand the disease process and how it affected not only the person with dementia, but family and circles of friends and so forth, how it affected jobs, incomes. I mean, the list, as you know, goes on and on and on. So in 2009, I then decided, okay, I'm going all in. I'm going to step out of real estate, which was very profitable for me, and I'm going all bets in. And I said, my retirement and all my savings is on the line. I'm going to try to make a difference in the world of dementia, not just here in Minnesota where I'm located, and not just here in the US, but globally. I truly believe everybody has the power to make a difference, big or small, and all of them are helpful. And I also believe that sharing real life stories is of huge value. So in 2011, I helped bring over the memory cafes from the UK, talked with Norms McNamara, and he hooked me up, and we started the first one here in Roseville, Minnesota. And that is continuing to grow. And we're now virtual, have been the last couple of years because of COVID. But it's been fun to see all those memory cafes grow. In fact, if you're not familiar with memory cafe directories, you're going to want to check those out. Dave Weidrich has pulled together 5 different countries. He breaks it down also by language. He breaks it down by in-person and virtual. So it's really easy to find a location close to you, or one that's virtual you can tap into. In 2011, I also started Alzheimer's Speaks Radio. That continues today. We typically do 2 shows a week. I record both of them on Tuesdays. And again, people all over the world at all levels. I've had kids be part of it, Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts who have been working on badges, to Harvard research, and everything in between. Again, the voice of those living with the disease, families, variety of businesses, movie directors, singer-songwriters, authors, advocates at all different levels are welcome. My only one restriction is that we have a comfortable conversation that's respectable. We don't have to necessarily agree on every single thing. Again, my belief is that families have the right of choice, and that shouldn't be limited because we all have different needs. From cultural to financial to, I mean, the list just goes on and on. And I believe people have the right of choice. And that is the one thing that I'm adamant about. In 2012, I started Dementia Chats, which is a educational panel that I facilitate. And we have a variety of people living with dementia that participate on that. We do that one time a month. And I basically just facilitate the conversation. We get together about a half an hour before, and they pick the topic, and I just make sure everybody has time to, get their voice across. And those have been so powerful. We've had people across the world ask if they can use those for training. And absolutely, they're free. I try to do as much stuff for free as possible. Because I think that there's just way too much that could cost families money, and I know how tight that is. During that time when I launched Dementia Chats, we were recognized by Dr. Oz as the #1 influencer online. And then the following year, 2013, myself, along with the Lutheran Home Association, launched the first dementia-friendly community in the United States. And that was really fun because we had a lot of people come from many, many different counties. Some drove over 2.5 hours to get to our meeting, and they were shocked at how we were doing this. My philosophy is not about being perfect. My philosophy is just start. If you've got an idea, go for it. If you have a passion to make a change, just try it. There's nothing to lose. And in my book, there is no such thing as failure. Failure is just a learning tool for all of us. And so I also believe that if we think we go in and develop the perfect product, something is wrong with that. Because I think we have to be fluid. I think we have to constantly be listening to our dementia communities and making sure that we're meeting their needs, not that we are just thinking that we're meeting their needs. So that was really fun. And as you've seen from there, there's a lot more communities out there. Here in Minnesota, where I'm from, we have Act on Alzheimer's, which was kind of the pilot for the dementia-friendly communities nationwide. But there are a lot of grassroots communities out there as well. So that's a really exciting. In 2013, I was named one of the Purple Angel ambassadors, which, if you're not familiar with that, Purple Angel is a logo that was developed by Norms McNamara and Jane Moore over in the UK. And it's a symbol that you can use for free, as long as it's not to make money. But it's about raising awareness and just to get people understanding that this is not a homegrown issue. This is a global issue that needs to be addressed, and we need to share information. Let's see, what else have I done? In 2013, I created Your Memory Chip, which you can find on our YouTube channel. You can also download it, but it just helps take you from being real task-oriented to really becoming person-centered. And I think, overuse that terminology. I like to say relationship-based, and this takes us from doing a task to first stopping and thinking, are they safe? Are they happy? Are they pain-free? And we do that. When we do that, we actually do our tasks differently. And it's pretty interesting. There's also a memory journal that you can tap into. In 2015, I was working with a Hollywood director on the film His Neighbor Phil, which is now called A Timeless Love, which is really, really powerful. And I used to take that across the country before COVID and then do talkbacks, and I can't wait till we are able to do that again, because I think it's important to not talk at the audience, but actually let them tell their stories. So many people don't have anyone to tell their stories to, and I think it's important to create that safe environment for them. In 2016, through the Roseville Alzheimer's and Dementia Community Action Team, which was founded, I want to say it was in 2013, we developed a caregiver reentry program. And that's for people who had lost a loved one and were really struggling with who are they now. So it's kind of like a memory cafe concept. It's kind of loose and lets the group really lead where they want to go. But in our pilot programs, they were very adamant that they didn't want another grief group. They said a grief group is great, but at the end of 8 weeks or however long the group is, it's over with and they're back on their own again. And they wanted something that was going to last a little bit longer and build a little more camaraderie. In 2016 as well, we were recognized by Maria Shriver, an architect of change for humanity, which was really cool. And then in 2017, we did a dementia-friendly cruise and symposium. That was for people with dementia and their families, which was a lot of fun. We also developed a communication tips brochure, which anybody can download. And then in 2018, we were recognized by Oprah, which was really cool, as a health hero. So it's been fun to see, some of the recognitions that have come out. We haven't gone after any of that. I am a firm believer that we just need authentic voices. So I encourage people to tell their stories at all levels and any levels, because there's always someone who needs to hear what you have to say. Even though I know when I was a care partner, I thought, what do I know? Well, you always know something more than somebody else and something less than somebody else. That's just the process, and that's okay. But know your thoughts are valuable to others and really can help guide them. Let's see, we were recognized by ARP as a disruptor and inspiring leader in 2018 as well. And then in 2019, our Roseville group really got involved with trying to make the airports more dementia friendly. That group has since grown. It has a very much of an international flavor with it, and it's neat to see the things that are coming out. There is a sunflower lanyard that many of the airports are now utilizing when people are traveling with an invisible disability. And they are working on doing some training with TSA, which is at the national level here in the United States. 2020, we got recognized by the National Institute of Dementia Education, which was neat. And one of the things I'm probably most proud of was in 2020, myself and Dave Wiedrich, the founder of the Memory Cafe Directories, launched Dementia Map, which is a global resource directory and has been, a vision of mine for 37 years. And Dave just did a wonderful job building it. And the goal of that is to make access easier for families, professionals, and those living with the disease. So there's no fee for access. In fact, you don't even have to sign in. You don't have to build an account. You don't have to forget another password. We made it really, really simple. You don't have to worry about being scammed or hacked, any of that. The information is just there. We have a resource directory. We have a glossary of terms. We have an events calendar, and we also have a blog. And, we're fairly new, we're building, we're not putting people in just to put them in to look bigger than what we are. We want people who we know are going to respond to consumers. If those consumers are people living with dementia, if they're family care partners, or if they're professionals. We want to, with this site, shift the paradigm and even out the playing field between the big and the small companies, because as you know, when you go Google something, you usually get 3 pages of paid ads, but it might not be what you're looking for exactly. And so it's hard to find a lot of resources because not everybody has a lot of money to pay. And so with Dementia Map, for vendors that have a service, product, tool, or information, we have 3 different levels. So there is a free one where it doesn't cost them a nickel to be in it. And then we have 2 enhanced listings that allow people more exposure and a little fancier cards, I guess we'll put it that way. And I do tours with that. Those are free. People can go ahead and sign up with me for a tour. That's very easy to do. We do tours for support groups, and we do CEUs even of that for professionals. What else can I tell you about me? I do a lot of speaking and training on a wide variety, from doing support groups, virtual or in person, just depending on the need. I do keynotes from large conferences to company trainings to talking with some, nonprofits or groups through churches and things like that. No group is too big or too small to talk to. I think information is really, really valuable. And the more information we can get to the public, the better off we'll all be. One of my philosophies in terms of education is I don't really like to separate those living with the disease, their family, and the professionals. I think we all need to learn at the same time, especially, let's say, if your loved one is in a community. It's very common for them to maybe educate their staff, and then they educate families, but they're not educating them on the same thing. And I think if we're going to really ease and enhance care, we should be educating on the same thing to both, because we both affect one another. And it just makes it easier to grow together as a whole. Last, I'll say, I would love to talk to any of you that have any ideas. If you want to be on the show, if you want to be part of Dementia Map, if you want to be part of Dementia Chats, if you're living with any form of dementia, I'd be more than glad to get you information on that. Same with Memory Cafe. If you're looking for something virtual, we can get you information there as well. Or if you know a group who's looking for, a professional speaker. And if you've got an idea and you just want to talk it through to see if it's feasible, please reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. I feel like this is my purpose in life. This is what I'm supposed to do. So I hope this gave you a good nutshell in terms of what I have to offer. My website is alzheimersspeaks.com. I do have to tell you, I'm working on a new one, which will be much easier to maneuver, but you can find pretty much everything you need there, but I can't wait till we launch the new one. And you can always go to dementiamap.com and, check that out. If you know of people who should be listed in there, please spread the word. We also have some downloadable things I'd be more than glad to get you. Again, you just need to reach out to me with, if you're interested in like 43 tips for communicating for someone with dementia. If you want the memory chip or the memory journal, I'd be glad to get those to you as well. A list of the dementia chats that we've done so far, and the list for all of our radio shows. We've been doing that many, many years, so there's lots of different shows that you can listen to there as well. So thank you for your time, and I hope to hear from some of you. Take care. And Dr. Lonnie, thank you so much for having me on the show, even if we couldn't do it together. Have a wonderful holiday season, everyone. Bye-bye.